Welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to go over activity 1.3.4, steps 19 through 29. So now you should have already done this part on steps, again, 14 through 18. So if you haven't done that part, make sure you go back and do that part. So I'm going to go ahead and continue here with step 19. It says use the shell feature to hollow out your base part. So what I'm going to do is look at the bottom and then use the shell feature. And now I should be able to select this part, right? So now as you can see, some of you guys may have trouble using the shell feature. That's fine. Again, on mine, you can already tell, you can see through the hollow parts, right? So you can already get a preview of how it's going to look like. So there we go. I'm going to click OK. And there is the shell feature. Now I'm going to go on to step 20. It says delete the shell feature. So you can do that by going back, using the back arrow. Keyboard shortcut is also Control Z. So you can press Control Z and that'll undo that. Or you can also right click on the shell feature and say delete this feature. Alright, so now we're going to add a short tapered extrusion, which is step 21, to the bottom of the solid model. Approximate a small, almost vertical edge of the physical case, and we're going to use a 3-degree taper. So in the settings, we're going to type in 3 for a taper. And it has to flare out, not in. So it has to flare out. So now if on yours, if you can just extrude this part, then that would work. But on mine, and I'm assuming most of your designs is not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to extrude it. Right? So the way we fix this is all we're going to do is create a new sketch, and we're going to create a new sketch on this face. Okay, so new sketch, and all I'm going to do is trace the lines. I'm going to use the line command. Now I'm going to trace the bottom face here. There we go. I'm going to press escape and then finish sketch. Now when I extrude, I'm going to extrude this part here. So to start off with the taper, right? It wanted us to use a 3-degree taper. So we'll type 3. And if I zoom in, just to make sure that it goes out and not in, right? So that's a good angle. So here we can flip the direction, right? That's going a little bit in. That's going a little bit out. We want it to go a little bit out, so I'm going to leave it like that. So now it doesn't tell us by how much to extrude. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in, kind of give it a similar look, maybe 0.5, 0.25. Okay, so I'm just going to put 0.2. And I'm going to press OK. There we go. So that looks, close like step 21. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue. So now we're going to do step 22, model the center hole in the top of the base part. So let's switch to the top view here. The center hole is a blind hole. The bottom of the wall around the center hole extends almost to the bottom edge of the hexagonal form. The hole cut should be tapered inward. So now this time it's going to flare in, and we're going to use a 2-degree taper. Okay. So now there's 2 ways to create holes, right? The first one, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. You add a point, right? You would add a point and then you would use the hole command. Okay. This time I'm going to show you the second way, which is all it is you're going to sketch a circle and then you're going to extrude it and make a cut, right? And that's the same thing as a hole. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch. Right click, new sketch. I'm going to use the circle. I'm going to sketch a circle here, 0.5. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. Now I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. There we go. Let's put the taper first. It was a 2-degree taper. And now, can we see the flare? It's pointing outwards. We can see it by the arrow here. And let's go ahead and switch it to make it inwards. Okay. So now, how far was it going to be? Well, again, it's supposed to be a cut, right? So it's supposed to go the other way. And then let's say about 1 inch. Okay, maybe a little bit longer. So 2 inches. That's about, you know, that's good enough. Okay, so we can press OK. So let's go ahead and check our hull. There we go. Let's go ahead and start a new sketch. We're going to start a new sketch on the top face again. This time I'm going to turn on the construction line because I'm going to create a construction circle. Now I'm going to go ahead and put 1.2 and press enter. There we go. Now I have my construction circle. Now I want to go ahead and turn off the construction command, right? So this is where I'm going to place the circle to create my next hole. So let's go ahead and do that. Right there, make sure the yellow dot is there. And I can type in 0.25. There we go. So now I can even add a vertical constraint. So I can choose vertical constraint, the center point to the center point of the hole. Okay, that's fine if it moves. Right, so let's go ahead and now extrude, finish the sketch. And now we can extrude our hull. Again, it's supposed to be a cut. And I believe the taper is, we can add another 2 taper. Now for a distance, it's going to be half the distance. So it's going to be 1 inch. Let's see, that looks about right. So let's go ahead and click OK. So now this is where we add our circular pattern, right? So if I zoom in, I'm going to go to pattern, circular pattern here. I'm going to select the circle here, showing in green, right there. Now I'm going to click here to the rotation axis, which is the circle here. And now I have my pattern, right? I want 5 circles. So I want to put 5 and then I'm going to press OK. There we go. So now we're on step 26. So we just completed, again, steps 24, 25, and then now we're on 26. So it says shell the part again. So we're going to do the shell feature again. Let's go ahead and move. So shell, and then we're going to do the same thing and press OK. So now notice that this time we can see the extrusions from our circles, right? The holes. Okay, step 27 says add your name to the top part, right? So again, all we're going to do is add our name. So you can even create a new sketch and then select the top face. You can zoom in. You can use the text command Right here is good. Add your name. Now cancel. Again, if it comes out crooked, you might try playing around with the rectangle box. Add your name. Okay, do work. All you have to do is rotate your shape. Okay, there we go. So now you can even extrude your name. Right? Let's see if we can move our box. There we go. Now I can say finish, and then I can even extrude my name. So I can put 0.1, and I can press OK. So now right now you can see your name is extruded. So now we're going to move on to steps 28 and 29. Okay, all we're going to do is use the measure command to take some measurements of our design. So here on Inventor, I'm going to go to the Inspect tools, the Inspect tab, and then we're going to click the measure. Okay. It says measure the top edge of the tapered circular extrusion. So all we have to do is select the edge here. And it's telling us the measurement, 1.733 inches is the diameter. Okay, the next is the bottom edge of the diameter or radius of the tapered circular extrusion on your base part. So now here you can select this part, or you can even go down to the bottom part and see if that also helps as well. So there we go. And then the third one is the height of the circular extrusion. So I'm assuming it's trying to see this height here. And there we go. So those are 3 selections, and here you can see some measurements here. Okay, so all it is just to measure. Gives you diameter, radius, length, and angle. And again, once you're done, you can press done. And then you can of course save your work. Again, if you get an error, you can always go and say File, Save As, and then you can give it a name. Steps 14 through 29, and then you can save it, and then you can take your full window screenshot. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.